Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
The reporter never got to finish his question, but he didn't have to. Angel Reese, in just 2 words, explained the current state of the WNBA and its relationship with Caitlin Clark. And that relationship has just taken a big turn. Let me explain. Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA has been undeniable. Millions of new fans, sold-out arenas, and record-breaking viewership. But what's also undeniable is the league's collective fumble of their golden opportunity. Instead of embracing the Caitlin Clark effect, many within the league pushed back. They questioned the hype, downplayed her impact, and worst of all, they mocked her fans. They treated the Caitlin Clark effect as a threat, not a gift. And to anyone watching from the outside, it made 0 sense.
The WNBA last year, bless their hearts, finally got a star. And they didn't know that. They couldn't figure it out. Well, we don't want to put too much Caitlin Clark on. Nope, every game. More Caitlin Clark all the time, always. Caitlin Clark is easily the most influential athlete in a team sport since Michael Jordan.
The success, the mainstream breakthrough, the headlines, the hype, the packed arenas. It was everything the WNBA had dreamed of for decades. They finally had the moment, the player, the spotlight, the cultural breakthrough. They're on the cusp of real money, respectable salaries, and global attention. But the catch, it was Caitlin Clark leading the way. And for many WNBA players, this wasn't a celebration. It was a funeral. Because for some of them, Caitlin being the one wasn't just a plot twist. It was the death of a dream. The dream that they would be the ones to collectively elevate the league. And maybe the hardest pill to accept. The idea that after years of being told fans just don't care about the women's game, the fans did show up. They just showed up for Caitlin.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Yes, Diana, there are. Like with a death, we've seen players and media go through what seem like stages of grief, denial, anger, the works. Just wait until you see how this all fits together. It's wild. Anyway, it's been sad, ugly, and just a bad look for the WNBA. But now there's been a shift. A moment that would normally be nothing special ended up changing everything. And now the WNBA is fully aware of what's coming next. And they're scrambling to get on the right side of history. Let's get into what happened. But first, like this video if you're ready to watch the WNBA cave to Caitlin. And don't forget to subscribe. Let's rewind for a second.
Now, if we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5 points.
By this point last season, Caitlin Clark was already living rent-free in the minds of half the WNBA. She hadn't just arrived. She detonated, tripled viewership, sold out NBA arenas, jersey sales through the roof. Every Fever game became a must-see event with fans lining up for hours and scalpers charging playoff prices for regular season tickets.
Caitlin's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
The jealousy started before Caitlin Clark ever laced up a pair of pro sneakers. The hype around her was nothing short of generational. She had just broken the NCAA all-time scoring record, men's and women's. She carried Iowa to back-to-back national championship games. Sold out every arena she touched. Dropped logo threes like they were layups. Then came the WNBA draft. No suspense, no surprises, just a coronation. She was the obvious #1 pick. But more than that, she was the moment. The camera flashes, the press coverage, the sponsors lining up. And that's where things got weird, because the league had seen great players before. A'ja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart, legitimate stars, MVPs, champions. But none of them entered with this kind of hype. And for some that stung. Cue the first stage of grief. Denial. It wasn't just skepticism. It was flat-out resistance. The old guard, players, media, even executives immediately jumped in to downplay the moment. You could see the cracks before she ever hit the court.
Last season, Clark
Sky players coming over. Here's Clark for 29 points, gets tripped up.
Is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
If Caitlin had just come in and flopped, even just been average, the old guard would have had their I told you so moment. The narrative would have written itself. College is college, but the WNBA is a different beast. You don't just waltz in and dominate the women who built this league. The hype would have cooled. The media attention would have shifted. And the old guard vindicated. But that's not what happened. Her first game brought in 1 million viewers, the most watched WNBA game in over 2 decades. Every time she played, the ratings soared. National broadcasts, sellout crowds, jerseys flying off the shelves. She wasn't just meeting the moment, she was owning it. And that's when we saw it. Stage 2, anger.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. So last night we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover?
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
Now that it was clear Caitlin's pull wasn't going to stop no matter how many eye rolls or media critiques came her way, the next step was damage control. Not off the court on it. The league, whether consciously or not, started pushing back between the lines. Players took liberties. Hard screens, off-ball hits, unnecessary contact. And what did the refs do? Pocketed their whistles. It became a pattern. Let her get hit. Let her get frustrated. Let her second guess if she belonged. If the hype wouldn't die naturally, they try to snuff it out physically. And you could see it game after game. It wore on her. She was exhausted, bruised, and mentally drained. But Caitlin rose above.
She didn't cry.
She didn't fold. She got stronger, literally, and came back after the Olympic break, playing the best basketball of her life. We're talking MVP level stuff. Leading the Fever to wins, breaking the assist record, making first team All-Star, all of it. And once she proved the hype was real, we entered stage 3, bargaining. This is the stage where people try to make sense of the new reality. They negotiate with themselves, with others, try to explain it all in a way that lets them hold on to what they lost. Status, pride, control. Because, let's be real, what many players lost was their ego. Caitlin came in, took the league by storm, and suddenly the spotlight wasn't on the veterans anymore. It was on her. So what did they do? They changed the story.
While Caitlin is fantastic and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA, there are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
They knew better than to go after Caitlin directly, because that would backfire. So instead, they went after everything around her. They attacked the fans. They blamed the media. According to them, Caitlin wasn't the problem. Everyone else was. She was getting privileged treatment. Her fans were not real WNBA fans. The narrative. If you liked Caitlin Clark, it must be because of her skin color. Never mind that she was leading the league in assists as a rookie. Never mind that she was drawing record-breaking crowds and putting more eyes on the game than ever before.
Nope.
None of that mattered because the story being told wasn't about her greatness. It was about bias.
And for the first time in history, WNBA games will be played in the United Center. The Chicago Sky will host the Indiana Fever at the UC on Saturday, June 7th, and on Sunday, July 27th.
It's the classic propaganda playbook. Repeat the lie enough, shout it loud enough, and eventually people stop questioning it. And now we've got a chunk of the basketball world actually believing Caitlin Clark isn't talented. She's just lucky. But if they were expecting the Caitlin Clark effect to simmer down because of this narrative, man, were they wrong. One by one, veterans started lining up to join the Indiana Fever. These weren't players desperate for a job or just happy to be on a roster. These were seasoned champions.
Dana
Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sydney Carlson, women with options, women with rings, and they all wanted the same thing to play in Indy. Not just because of the roster, not just because of the coach, but because of Caitlin Clark. There was a time not long ago when media voices like Cheryl Swoops painted Indiana as a place no one wanted to go. Diana Taurasi even mentioned the old rumors recently, but that narrative collapsed. Indy isn't just a destination, it's the destination. And with that, the floodgates opened.